Hey everyone, welcome back, or if you're new, I'm Sam McDonough, IFBB Bikini Pro, and today we're going to talk about relationships, friendships, and dating in bodybuilding. So, if you're just getting into bodybuilding, then you might notice that there's been a major change in your lifestyle, and it has limited activities you can do with your friends that maybe you would normally do. Maybe you're someone who likes to go out and have a couple drinks with your friends, go to clubs, bars. People are probably going to bars. If you're dating, a common thing you do when you go on a date is get a drink with someone or go to dinner with someone. And when you do bodybuilding, it's not always that simple. You have to be a little creative with your planning. So it can be difficult. So let's talk about it. When I started bodybuilding, my personal experience, and I have my little notes in front of me so I don't forget anything I wanted to say. When I was dating, when I started bodybuilding, and really even until I met my partner in SEMA, I was in total denial about what I needed or wanted in a partner. I was like, no, like if my partner drinks or whatever, if they like to go out, if they like to go to dinners, if they don't work out, that's really what I was in denial about. Like if they don't work out themselves, that's fine. Like not everyone is into the same things. Like that's fine if they don't really work out. And then I realized that it's a full-on lifestyle. And I was in denial that I had the lifestyle myself. Because I'm always afraid of coming off like a douchebag who thinks that they are better than people because they make different choices with their food and how they spend their free time, which is like working out and prepping, like paying attention to what you eat at all. Like most people, well, I don't know about most people, but a lot of people will just, it's a foreign concept to me, to be honest. Because before I did bodybuilding, I was just eating like, one of the reasons I wanted to start getting into shape is because I was eating s'mores every day for like breakfast and lunch and also dinner. I was making like full on s'mores in my microwave at my parents' house. And I did that for like 2 weeks straight. And then I was like, my stomach is like looking a little bit, why, like more, I don't want to say pudgy, but I guess that's what I mean. More pudgy than I remember it did 2 weeks ago. What's changed? And it was that I was eating s'mores like 2 or 3 times a day. So yeah, I was like, my body's not responding how it used to, so I guess maybe I should cut back and maybe I should start working out. The real impetus for me working out is because somebody tried to sexually assault me in my sleep. And then that just made me like not drink anymore anyway. So I have never really drank at legal age in my adult life, so that hasn't really been a factor with my friendships, which we will get into. But yeah, so back to me being in denial. Also, okay, this is really gonna check out what I'm about to tell you. I have ADHD, and my therapist told me the other day, I was like, Kate, so you said you think I have ADHD, correct? And she said, I would be pretty confident in diagnosing you with ADHD. And I was like, okay. And she said, having a conversation with someone who has ADHD is like surfing. Like you go to a bunch of different topics at once. And she was like, and you always bring it back to what it is that's important to you. But having a conversation with a neurotypical person is linear. So they'll say things that are concerning, like make you raise your eyebrow throughout, but they never come back to it. And you're like, we need to dig into that. But it's not how they think. So it's just a straight line. So anyway, what I was in denial about. Yeah, I was like, if they don't work out, that's fine. Like, I could date someone who's not, like, very in shape. That'd be fine. And then I realized, not only am I superficial enough to be attracted to people who are in better shape more of the time, but also, and I honestly hate saying that, but I guess it's true. And then the lifestyle habits just don't necessarily line up. Like I go to bed at 7. Like if I'm able to go to bed at 7, like if I'm not training people at night, then I'm going to bed at 7, which means wind down time starts at like 4 p.m., 4:30. And if somebody else likes to go to dinners and they're eating dinner at 7, that's not going to work for me at all. So things like that. And then also, if somebody really derives a lot of joy out of you guys eating together, Also not going to happen. I hate when people talk to me when I'm eating, and I always have, because I want to focus on enjoying what I'm eating, not on trying to think of what I'm going to say to the next thing you say, and then it interrupts me, and then my food's getting cold, like, well, there's another bite, and I just can't do it. And then also when I was growing up, we would go out to dinners, and my mom would take forever to order our food, and the server would come back to take our orders like twice after they've already like gotten our drink order. And I sit down, and I already know what I'm ordering. So I order my food when I have whatever drink I'm ordering. But yeah, and then she would just end up getting the thing that the person before her got. So I'm like, why do we waste all that time? I'm starving. So yeah, I hold a grudge against going out to eat in general anyway. So yeah, so I was in denial about someone I could date. And then I finally realized I just have to accept the superficial person that I am. And it's also good to have similar lifestyles to the person you're dating. That way you can actually hang out. If somebody's staying up till midnight, I'm leaving you 5 hours before that. So yeah, there's that. And then if someone drinks and like enjoys sharing drinks with you and stuff, which I honestly can't even imagine, then it's not going to work. So yeah, I was in denial. So all that to say, 6 minutes in, all that to say, be honest with yourself about what you want in a partner and like what kind of lifestyle, like does your lifestyle match up with this other person's? So yeah, just like I wouldn't date someone who goes to church regularly, like I'm not going to date someone who, doesn't take care of themselves in that kind of way, because the common interests are just not there enough for me. So, like, and now, the person I'm dating, my boyfriend, and then the boyfriend I had before him, awesome. The person I dated last time was fabulous. I was in prep, and, he would show up at my door, sometimes already be eating, because he, like, warmed up his food. I would open the door, and he'd say, "How many steps do you have left, babe?" And then I would be like, 5,000. And he would be like, "All right." And then he'd just turn around and start walking. And then he would eat on our walks. So that is like going the extra mile for a partner. But it was just such like a wonderful, sweet, loving example of somebody supporting you and like going there, taking those steps with you. Like literally. So yeah. And my boyfriend now, he's like, it's hot that you go to bed at 7. It's hot that you like to go to the gym. It's hot that you won't stay up till 10 p.m. almost ever. So, yeah. And he's always encouraging. He, also thinks it's hot when he asks me if I want to get something like sushi or something and I say no. He's like, wow. Okay, that's good. And then it saves him money too, because then he just won't order it for himself, because the point of it was for us to indulge together. So yeah, my boyfriend cheers me on. After I went pro, which we're coming up on the year anniversary, he sent me a screen recording of our Ring camera. He was watching a live stream on his phone. He was sitting like on our little steps, and then he like totally freaked out and was jumping up and down, running around the house, screaming, "Yes, yes," like so excited. And then he sent me that screen recording after I won, and it was just so cute. And he was running around being like, "She's a pro." It was precious. So you want someone who's gonna like cheer you on. And I mean, that's part of what a relationship should be. Like, their first instinct whenever something good happens to you, and this is what I've told every partner I've had, is if something good happens to you, their first instinct should be to congratulate you. I'm so happy for you. It shouldn't be insecurity, like, oh, okay, well, oh, that's great. That's great. Like, it should immediately be excited, with no delay at all. So that is what I've looked for in partners. And then luckily, most of the people I've dated since I've always had these habits, or at least since I've been like seriously dating people, I've had these habits, they coincidentally have done bodybuilding shows themselves. So last person I dated had done a show, so we totally got it. My first girlfriend, she had never competed, but she was super jacked. So she understood. And then my partner now, he, is like a pro in all the natural federations, hasn't done it in years, but like totally gets it and supports it. So yeah, but that's not what it is. That's not what it's always like. There's a lot. Sorry, that was just like only. You know what? Not sorry. I am working on not apologizing, but I did not do anything wrong. So I take it back. Sorry, rescinded. Apology rescinded. And what was I gonna say? I was gonna say that dating is tough when you do bodybuilding because when you become a personal trainer, one of the first things that I learned was that if it's usually women, like if a woman signs up with you, then you should ask how their partner feels about it. And spoiler, because men be insecure. I mean, women are insecure too, but it's like this is more common in personal training from what I understand and from personal experience as a trainer. When someone joins the gym, you want to ask if their partner or spouse or whatever is supportive of that idea. Because there are a lot of times, well, one, like someone will have sex with their trainer and that's obviously not cool. I've never done that. But another thing is that it brings out insecurity in a partner. So if you are just getting into this after never being somebody who worked out or really did anything like this in general, then it can bring out insecurity in your partner because they're like, oh, well, who do you want to look so good for? Oh, you're going to wear that outfit to the gym. Like, especially if you start feeling yourself and you're like, oh, I'm seeing these results. Like, I want to wear those cute workout outfits I see girls wear. Then, people get insecure about that. And that is not your fault. Me looking down the camera. Not your fault. So yeah, it's very revealing how a partner reacts when you, like if you're in a relationship, how your partner reacts when you start to do this kind of thing. So, and if they're showing that, like, that's stuff that they need to work through, not that you need to, solve for them. Like, that's more deep rooted if they're legitimately getting jealous because you look good and it makes them worry you're going to cheat. Like, because what else is the fear? It's mainly that you're going to cheat. However, if you have a partner and they, are hesitant, but it's not coming from a place. Sorry, I'm thinking of all the different scenarios of if you have a partner when you've never done those before, but I'll just stick to these two. So that one, and then if you have a partner and they are supportive, they aren't like having that unattractive insecurity about it, then explain it to them. Like, explain, like my dad. Well, okay, well, I'm obviously not dating my dad. I'll just finish the thought though. He was weirded out by coming to the show because he's like, I don't want to like look like a creep looking at all these girls' butts and their back pose. So that was fair. He didn't come. He's very proud of me. But when you are with someone or you're dating someone new and they're like cool with it, they aren't like having insecurity about it, and then it does help to explain, because this is a weird, very niche thing. Like, when I got into bodybuilding, I was not aware of the entire subculture that this is. Because when you're in it, it feels like that is the whole world. But if you tell anyone what the NPC or the IFBB or the OCB or the INBA or whatever it is, they don't know what the fuck that is, and they honestly don't care. And that's another thing. That if you are doing a show, everyone's gonna forget you did the show 2 weeks later, so you really want to do that show like for yourself. That's just a PSA. But anyway, so explain it to them. Be like, this makes me feel good, or whatever the reasons are. It makes me build self-efficacy, like consistently following through on these promises that I've made to myself. It makes me feel more confident physically. I mean, you can say that. It's not wrong to say that you like the look of the sport. Otherwise, I doubt anyone's doing the physique sport because they wouldn't do it if they hate the look, I don't think. It's too hard and time consuming to do that. So yeah, explain it to them. It makes me build self-confidence, helps me with follow through in other areas of my life. I've never experienced this kind of discipline before, and it shows me that I can have this discipline in other areas of my life. This show itself is only 1 day, so I'm not going to look like freaky lean forever, not even for months, but like maybe for a month and a half, 2 months of like the very extremely lean. You shouldn't be extremely lean for that long, I don't think, but there are different scenarios for everyone. But yeah, so just tell them. And if they tell them, and then they should understand that. They might not like how you look when you get super lean, but that is not a forever thing. Like my butt, it looked concave unless I was in a pose during my last season. So my goal this time is to still have some shape to my glutes when I turn to the side when I'm very lean. So that's my goal. That's my personal goal. So yeah, explain to them. If they don't get it, or if you realize your lifestyles are not matching up, then it's probably not the person for you when you're dating. And other people might sexualize it. They, like the back post thing with my dad not wanting to come to the show. Not that he thought it was sexualized, but it's definitely like venturing into that area for him from what he understood at the time. That was like 8 years ago. So yeah, just be open with people, and then if it's not for them, it's not for them. Let them know, like, when I am in an actual prep, when it starts to get really close, like, I'm not going to be able to go out to eat as much. If you love doing that, like, if your partner loves doing that, just let them know I'm not going to be able to do that as much. Not because I, like, don't want to spend that kind of time with you, but because that's what it's going to take for the next 2 months or whatever. But if you're dating, date ideas. So, date ideas. I had to get very creative with date ideas. So, there are other things than going out to eat or getting drinks or whatever. So for dates, what I do, even like now when I'm in prep, we just go to like events, like craft fairs. Love a craft fair. Drag shows, love a drag show. He hasn't gone to one yet, but I will be taking him. But we've gone to like aerial performance things, so like those Cirque du Soleil kinds of shows. We haven't gone to an actual Cirque du Soleil show, but there's like aerial events like that with trapeze, lyra, pole, stuff like that around here, so we've gone to those together. But you could also go play pool, which is good. That's something I did when I was dating people. I would go play pool because if I didn't like them after the first game, then I would be like, oh, I gotta go to bed, I'm so tired, which is rude. I was actually thinking about that earlier. Like, that was probably rude dating early on. But yeah, so playing pool, coffee, and walking. Love coffee and walking. And if you also are in kind of like a disagreement, or you have to have a deeper discussion about something with your partner, doing it on a walk or on a little road trip somewhere, like if you drive 30 minutes away, if you live somewhere where there's hiking or something like that, then that's a good time to talk, because you aren't just sitting in front of each other with all that pressure, like staring them in the eyes. It takes some of that pressure off, and then you can work things out that way. So when Nsima and I have had deeper discussions about certain things, I always love to go on a walk, and so does he. So yeah, that's just an idea. And then same thing with friends, like going to coffee, going on a walk. There are tons of things you can do that are not going out to dinner or, getting a drink. And you also end up being the cheapest date of all time. My grandpa loved hanging out with me because I never really liked to go out to eat because of the trauma I just shared with you. But I did love orange Tic Tacs. We would get me 2 packages of orange Tic Tacs, and then we would go to Lowe's. And I love color. I'm a makeup artist, so I love stuff like that. So I collected paint chips from Lowe's. So, like, their little home painting department, I would grab some paint chips, and it was the best. And he said that was the cheapest date ever. So, you can be that too for the men, women, NBs in your life. Okay. And then what else do I have here? Let me consult my little notes. And then, oh yeah, we should probably talk about sex life when you're dating or in a relationship. So, sex life is probably going to dwindle because you have hardly any energy to do anything. And also your body changes. So, you might not be, this sounds bad, but like as into, or your partner might not be as into you. When it comes time, because it's just like freakishly small. There's no padding anywhere, so sex life will probably dwindle for multiple reasons, but the biggest one is probably it's gonna be like libido vanishing as the show gets closer, which is not forever, but it is, it is something. So yeah. So if you're dating, you definitely you want to make sure that like you can use it as a gauge, because if someone really only likes you when you're like really lean, and then they're like grossed out when you gain weight, you have to be with a partner who is okay with some fluctuating weight. And I think most people are, but like, that's another revealing thing. You don't want someone who like has these crazy body standards for you. Which I haven't even really encountered, but I'm just saying, like, it's something that I would keep in mind if I were dating. Okay. And then what else? Friends. Okay, let's talk about friends. And we already talked about ideas for hangouts. Here I have friends and ideas for hangouts and losing friends and new friends. So what shall we start with? Let's talk about losing friends. So when I was 18, like I told you, I stopped drinking then. I didn't even drink a lot before then, but just like the night that happened, I happened to be drinking that night. I so yeah, my friends have always been used to this lifestyle. I did lose one friend at the time, but we reconnected later on. It turns out there were just other things going on in her life at the time. I also have lost a friend because I didn't do a show that we planned to do together. And now we just aren't friends anymore, unfortunately. Or fortunately, but you know. So, friends and stuff like that. If you are a part of a friend group similar to what we were talking about, if you're with someone and you guys always go out to eat or get drinks and stuff, friends don't always stick around once you get into bodybuilding. Not because they don't love you, but because lifestyles just don't match up. And there's that similar insecurity that goes on with people in their own drinking. So, when I was like 16, probably, I realized, like, because I didn't drink often at all. I was like, not really like a part of that crowd when I was in high school, but I noticed that when I did, I would drink with the purpose of with the intention of getting drunk. And there was an alarm bell that sounded in my head one night, which I remember very vividly. And I thought, if I keep this up, I think I could envision myself being an alcoholic. And then I learned later that that is something that runs in my family. So that's just kind of a side story. Okay, that's not related to this. If I were good at editing, maybe I'd edit that out. But yeah, like so and oh, the reason that's important, here's the reason it's important, see this like surfing, is because like I learned that about myself and then later on I learned about the family history. But there are a lot of people that if you guys are friends and you go out and do stuff like mainly drinking, then they start to feel insecure when you don't drink because it highlights to them or yeah, it I don't want to say reveals again, but it reveals. I've been watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race and there are a lot of reveals. It reveals to them that maybe they have some type of dependency or tendency to at least lean on alcohol for fun, to be a person they think they like more, or just like to escape. So sometimes it will be revealing that way to them, and you guys won't be friends anymore because they, you know, are insecure that you won't drink around them. That's what happened to me in high school with that friend I told you about. They were like, Sam doesn't drink, so she's not fun anymore, even though like I barely drank then. So it was like we were friends even most of the time when I wasn't drinking. So yeah, that can be tough with friends. I know a lot of people have lost their whole group of friends because that's what they would do for fun, especially if you're getting into this like when you're in your late 20s or something, or I guess really any time in your adult life. Yeah, it can push some people away. So yeah, that is something. And then what else? Is that really it? Maybe that's really it with like the issues you might have with friends there. But I would suggest the same things like coffee, going on a walk. I have one friend, Bethany, who I adore, and we just do crafts together. Like we go to her studio and paint and do stuff like that. So get creative. Flex those creative. Oh, okay. Well, it seems dorky to say flex those creative muscles in the context of a bodybuilding video, which was not my intention. But flex those creativity muscles. You should. I'm not going to get it out now, but, well, I can show you this. I sewed over 1,000 buttons on this dress once, and I made this sculpture. Can you see it? It's pretty awesome. So yeah, you can find other things to do. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. What else do I have to say? So, yeah, crafts. That's the main thing, I guess. Okay, and then new friends. Oh my god. Have I just met the best people? I feel my skin like getting prickly as I say this because I'm like so excited. I have met just the most wonderful people in my time bodybuilding, some of my closest friends, and I'm just so grateful for them because they really get it. Like my friend Christopher Nick Jelias. She is one of the greatest people in my life, and I am grateful every day that we are friends, and we met because of bodybuilding, and we have hung out in person maybe 4 times. She was a coach for the old team that I was on, and we weren't really friends then because I didn't want to cross any professional boundaries, but then we became friends later on, lucky me, and we talk like almost every day and have for, I don't know, like 3 years, like a long time. We've gone on trips to go see each other compete. I went to see her compete in Orlando, and I live in California, in 2023. And then 2024, she came to the Arnolds. We met in Columbus. We have destination hangs. And then she and her boyfriend have been getting into puzzles recently. So I was like, how about we both get the same puzzle and we both do it at the same time? And we did. And it was awesome. What they finished in 5 hours in the afternoon, I took a week. So, yeah, like, she is just someone who is so special to me, and I wouldn't have met her had it not been for bodybuilding, and she totally gets all these bodybuilding woes that we go through sometimes, and she understands sometimes, and she understands, like, how huge little wins are, like seeing an extra line that you haven't seen ever, or, like, getting the cut of your suit just right, like, she just gets those things. And she teaches me things all the time because she's a coach herself. So, yeah, her. And then I have another friend who I won't name because the reason we met is because on our old team, I reached out in the group message. I have 2 friends, actually, who I reached out in the group message and I was like, hey, guys, I feel like I'm at a total loss. Like, I have a history of eating disorders in the past and I'm struggling. If anyone struggled with this, can you reach out to me directly? And I have 2 super close friends because of that. Another one is someone that I talk to, like, you know, a couple times a week for the past 4 years. Like, I'm really lucky. And then I have another friend who watches, you know, who I followed because we had a mutual friend. And then she watched 1 or 2 of my videos or something and then reached out, and then we just became friends and we talk like on the reg. So yeah, you can also meet a ton of like really awesome people who totally get what it is that you're going through, good and bad. I don't mean going through in a bad way because obviously bodybuilding is a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. So yeah, and then you get to talk like strategy with shows, strategies with improvement season, suit cuts, colors, hair, makeup, tan, suit, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I think that's that on friends. Another friend, Rebecca. She just took me to a drag brunch last weekend, where I got to wear my dress. If you remember the dress right here, I got to wear this dress, and yeah, I got to wear it, and she took me there to celebrate me getting into grad school. By the way, I got into grad school. I'm so excited. I am about to be a marriage and family therapist specializing in queer people, especially couples. At least that's my goal now. It could probably change. I think your specialty ends up finding you. So, yeah, I think that's all I have. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, then let me know. Also, let me know your Arnold predictions. A couple of you did in my last video. And if you need help with posing, you can also reach out to me. I have my Instagram and stuff in the bio. It's just at 360 posing on Instagram. And yeah, thanks so much, you guys. Let me find a little off button. Have a great day.